Hey, so I'm making a quick video about basically the copycat energy, and you know how I know that I'm being surveillanced and recorded is I'm going to prove it cybernetically today and create files of it. Is that I'll be making these videos in privacy, and I'll be making these videos in privacy, and then people will hit me up and interrupt the video. Primarily spam. I get a lot of potential spam calls, or I get my dad. He's a perp. He'll call me if I'm doing anything with like any clarity or anything. They try to ruin it. Recently, my brother, right, saw what I'm doing in my business, and all he's literally trying to do on like my door hangers. The first thing he said he wanted to help me. I'm not accepting like a partnership or anything. He just said he wanted to help me. Uh, then we got hit with a fucking snowstorm, and then that kind of fucked me over. But and you wonder if some of this stuff is like, you know, like governmental. Like some of the weather patterns are like governmentally generated, just to throw off like a few people in that state, or like people that they hate. They could sue them that because that's what I plan on doing. But for example, like my brother, so I give him all these door hangers for like the business I do, and he says he's gonna go pass them out. Hasn't passed one out. Has totally blocked me, and has been in competition with me. This secretly has been a covert. That's what I'm saying is these copycatters, these targeters, they will get your family involved, and your family will almost, all the people doing this bond. They have a bonding, experience over harassing my property, watching me go without, watching me starve, watching me go hungry. And they see that I have more potential than they do. I'm already working on shit that they've never even thought of. And that's why it makes them so insecure, man, because they've accepted the mediocre route. They've accepted mediocrity. And they're also celebrating mediocrity. So, of course, they're going to copycat, someone who's doing some things that are different. And it's not just my little brother, it's some other ones. The ops, the perps that they'll do it. They'll get you, with fake people, fake plants, girlfriends and shit. Um, Pretty much everyone underneath the sun that you didn't know, that I knew, got contacted or forced or paid off. I mean, literally paid off by the cops, and then the cops were paying them off, so the cops were getting paid off, and the cops were having extra money to pay them off. That's why this is governmental. There's too many people involved with it, and it's also spiritual. But there's just too many people. It's too coordinated. They're trying to really make someone fail that much. That it's coordinated organized crime. They're trying to disappear people, get them on routes outside their comfort zone. They'll put you on road trips and then ditch you in the middle of nowhere. I've had that happen. And I was thinking the whole time, I can kind of trust this guy, but I'm getting pretty nervous about what this guy's talking about and the way he's acting. It's a friend. At that time, he was my friend. Well, he ditched me. He ditched me in Bakersfield, California, Southern California. I was ditched. Because I think this guy's a pussy, and he secretly wanted to go back to Indiana. And he ended up going back to Indiana. He was being targeted because of me, though. At one point, he was not a perp. And then another point, he joined in and started playing the game, playing the directed conversation, the this, the that, the condescending nature, the entitled mindset. That's how I know a switch went off. He started saying very rude, hateful things towards me. It became increasingly bad. But when I first 5, 6, 7 years I knew him, it wasn't like that. I knew this guy about a decade. So it was a real shame that when we were separated as friends, because we even said at one point, I can hear the first responders in the background trying to sensitize me to trauma, right? Maybe not. Maybe they're on an actual call right now. But you guys know better. I know better. I know I'm not crazy, and that's why they were using. That's why they're weaponizing psychiatry in my 20s, and they're still doing it, even though I'm not in that. Even though I'm not in the facility. They'll want you to talk to people. They'll want you to talk to shrinks. I told a therapist about this and almost went to jail. So they want to keep this, because they want to keep this very, very quiet. They'll do phony welfare checks, pretending like they care, when all they're doing is trying to copycat, take credit, and get you out the way. That's really all they're trying to do. Take the credit. They want your assets, they want your money, they might even want your body parts, as physical assets, to resell your traffic, dark web, like sell body parts on the dark web type thing. It does happen, so I'm not dismissing it. But the way they've hit me, they've been hitting my car. I was at the Monon Center a few days ago working out. My water bottles were punctured, pretty obvious. Then I come out, there's a Carmel police officer in a truck. He doesn't usually drive that. I'm like, okay, that's strange. And then another thing that was weird was he was staring at me, and I come downstairs, he's staring at me like he's down there for me, like I did something wrong. Like he's about to put me in jail, or like he's there to intimidate me. And he was definitely looking really nervous and like really like kind of jealous at the same time. Nervous and jealous at the same time. And because he's been showed up. A lot of these narcissists been showed up. And they don't want that to happen. They don't want that to happen. They're used to being in their cocky ways, so that's why my brother's got me on block. Such a fake dude. Now I'll say this, some of these guys are on drugs and they're pill popping and doing all that shit. But he is too. He's pill popping and drinking. And, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I actually tolerated him because he is my brother. And I told my dad, I've gone months, if not a year before, not talking to this dude. This dude now is blatantly perping. My brother, he's blatantly in your face perping. He says, and I called him straight down. I said, look, you only call me when you want something. You want to copycat something I'm doing, or you want to replicate something that I'm doing. He still lies to me and says how more successful he's been. He's going to open this business. It's going to be the same one I'm doing. It's going to be 10 times better. This guy's a complete jackass. And what he's doing is he's being greedy too, because he doesn't want to help with my business. All I did was I got these door hangers for him, and now he's glitching, right? He's glitching. He doesn't know if he wants to help me. He said he would, but he seems embarrassed. He's like, oh shit, because these narcissists and these gang stalk, they were expecting me to stay on the lower level forever. They were just expecting me to get on disability. They were expecting me to give up. My dad kept telling me, get on disability, get on disability. I'm like, dude, I don't even qualify for disability. That's why I got declined the first time I tried to get on disability. And the only reason I had to do that was because my notary business got destroyed, obliterated by Marion County IMPD. Hamilton County also worked in tandem, of course. Their buddies in Hamilton County. That's why when I would go in there, I'd get locked up and say, "Oh, your buddies, over in Marion County, they stole my shoes or whatever, or they're putting me in over in this jail." I mean, it got to the point where I really couldn't go much of anywhere without getting pulled over. Me just living my daily life, being productive. It got to the point where I had to leave the state. I could not go more than a couple weeks without getting pulled over. That's how bad it got. They backed off a little bit now because of all the reports that I've made against the police, against my brother, who put a charge on me for something that really he caused. So he tried to run over my foot, and I slammed a coffee mug over his hood of his car. Well, who's wrong? I'd say the guy that's trying to run over your damn fucking leg and break your leg. And he tried to, and I moved out of the way, and as a reaction, I was pissed already because I knew what I was dealing with. So I slammed a coffee mug over the hood of his car, left a small dent. Now, the police weren't even there. There was no witnesses there. They took his word for it, gave me a criminal recklessness misdemeanor, forced me to pay more court fees, more dues. And I think at one point they had another warrant out for my arrest. Yeah, they did. I had resolved it. And it was so weird because I was in the hospital. I had to go to the hospital one of those days, and I found out in the hospital that I had a orange W on my case, Indiana. I had a warrant out. I was sitting there like, it's so weird because the way the police were acting, they were acting like I had a warrant, but they didn't know. So, just it's a real backstab feeling. I feel like I've been totally betrayed and used by these gang stalkers, these perps, and my brother is definitely one of them. So is my dad. And it's just to the point where I'll create my own family and I won't talk to my old family. They're all old and almost dead anyway. And they're all losers, drug addicts and losers. Not all of them. They're all narcissists. And I don't want to have anything to do with narcissists. Nothing. Unless I'm playing them and I'm getting information out of them. Right? I use their same tactics that they use, and I use them on them. I play mind tricks. I extract data. I set traps. I'll get some truth here and there, and I'll see what they're all about because that's what they're on. That's the same shit that they're on. They're going to do that. They're going to steal your idea. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Oh, let's go do it. Yeah, and then they try, and then hopefully they fail because they didn't, like Nick, my brother. Oh, pathetic man. He's like not even a man for doing it. You're not even a man. You're like a child. So, I don't know where, these people get their ideology. It's like, how can you be so fucking cold-hearted and not give a fuck about someone that's your family member? Really? That to me is like, you really are already a piece of shit, or you are already a piece of shit that just got paid off, so now you're a dedicated piece of shit. You're committed to the plan of being an idiot. You'll die for it. I mean, some of these people die for these people. They're paying me so well. I can't get out of the matrix, the system that the perps are paying them so well that why would they want to leave? Why would they want to walk away now? They could get a house. They could get this. These people get gifted shit all the time. Shit they can't afford. I've seen them get gifted shit. So I've seen the other family member walk out with a 2020 at the time, 21 Kia Sportage. This bitch doesn't have good credit. She fucks for her rent. Part of it. She's on disability, Social Security. She fucks for her rent. And right, she's a pill popper and a fucking two packs a day, Marlboro or whatever, 2 packs of red cigarettes a day, fucking smoker. Obviously, she's not the winning class of person on this planet. But her, my brother, and my dad, you know, they're all my dad's sober, and this is the family hater mentality. They won't stop gaslighting me. They damn near act like if I was dead, that'd be better off. That's why I know that I was a planned sacrifice. Yeah. Sacrifice gone wrong. They can really only sacrifice you if they can corner you and make you broke, homeless, and hungry. If they can't do that, then they can't sacrifice you. As they can still do it, but they can't do it as easily. They'll have to stage a car accident or drug you or do some shit like that. And for those of you that know what I'm talking about, these people are all cowards. Yeah, my brother's a coward and a douchebag, and he barely just this guy is a complete, it's cheesy too. It's like you're gonna take my door hangers, and I'm imagining what he's probably trying to do. He's probably trying to reverse engineer like what I'm working on, and he's probably trying to do it himself. He doesn't even have enough money to pay, where he's at. And then I had some work come in. I got 5 jobs come in, and then 3 of them are outdoor, and there really can't be frozen or snow. And there's snow. Of course, it's frozen. Like I said on this video, on higher quality videos where I'm really getting to the point where these copycats, these trolls, and these dumbasses, they call me. They just, narcissists just want you to be forced to be lower than them. That's how they feel. They're just gonna force you on a lower level. We'll try to. We try to keep costing you more money, fucking with your car, fucking with your payments. They kind of have laid low a little bit. They still do it. From time to time, they've kind of stopped a little bit because they realize some of their people get shot. I know a guy 2 nights ago who I wasn't with him. Recently, he's a paraplegic, missing 2 legs. He's got a blood clotting disorder in his legs, so they cut his legs off. Well, this guy fucking shot someone in a bar. And I guess the guy that shot him said these motherfuckers were harassing him because of his disability of not, having legs. First he had 1 leg. First he had both legs. Then he had gotten part of a leg chopped off. Then he got the whole leg chopped off. Same thing with the other leg. They had to take his legs off. He's just a torso of a dude, as you'd imagine, with 2 arms. So he's at a bar at 2:45 a.m., which is definitely not a good idea. Definitely not a good idea. And I guess he smoked someone 2 days ago. Yeah, I saw a mugshot of that. I know that dude. I don't think he's a bad dude. I hope he doesn't do a life sentence in prison. Because this dude's a major gun collector. So whatever he killed him with, I mean, he didn't deserve to have that blood clotting disorder. That's some fucking bullshit. That's probably why he's got a chip on his shoulder, and then someone's harassing him. So it's not being harassed. I haven't been harassed based on how I physically look. Although they will try to do that, but they won't do that as much. They'll more or less do the covert surveillance, the breaking and entering, tampering with personal property. Try to steal your ideas, take credit for them, stuff like that. Try to steal intellectual property in corporations, patent designs. Try to take credit for them. Don't give them shit. I'm not giving them. I'm not giving. You know, I'm just all I'm trying to do is pay my dues. That's all I'm trying to do. Pay my debts. Pay my payments. Move on. Save money. Then you got all this snow outside. I do a property maintenance business. Well, a couple of idiots that hit me up to begin with. Why are you hitting me up the last week of fucking November to go clean your fucking gutters, you idiot? We got an early fucking winter. You have to anticipate. We get early winters here. Look, I'm pissed because that's about $600 right there that I would have had. Then another 600 I'd make inside. So I'm gonna try to see if I can go do the indoor jobs really quick. And I want to try to do the indoor jobs really quick and see if that'll hold me over until the snow melts. Yeah, it's hard to be. Sometimes it's hard to be early to everything. You guys said these motherfuckers will. They will like get a ton of them involved if they know you're busy or you're doing something. They'll get a ton of them involved and they'll flood the like every major roadway will be flooded with like a bunch of strangers, and that is what I believe. You know, if there's no event going on and there's no like rush hour, like what's the holdup? Let's use the process of elimination. Like, so what's the real holdup? There's all these cars. It's not rush hour. There's no major event. It's not the holidays. You know, what are these clowns are really up to? And you know what they're up to. They're flooding the streets so that they can slow you down and slow down other people. They get that many people involved. That's what I'm saying. It looks ridiculous because it doesn't even work. They have that many people involved and it still doesn't even work. So what's the point in the first place? You're getting that many people involved. It's not working out. They need to stop doing what they're doing, and they're not going to. They're not. I'm letting you know they don't plan on it. You could have handlers you've never met. Most of these people, if you get like me, never gonna meet them. There's a ton of them. A lot of them. They're always trying to find ways to either modify the weather, or do this because I'm about to make $1,200 and it take me a few days, and then get more people. I need to get more people booked so that when this melts, I go straight to these jobs and then do indoor jobs while this is going on. So, just like I said, more documentation. I come outside, and the way I know that Perps did this is because it looks like childish, okay? It looks like a retarded, idiot, or just like a mentally, like just somebody that's like got the mindset of a narcissist. That's crazy. Would stab my drink so that both my water bottles are leaking. Now, creates a little bit of airflow, but you can't let it be tilted on the side, otherwise it'll leak out. So it definitely is, and like I said, that happened right when I got out of the workout center a few days ago. Right when I got out of there, the the cop was mean mugging me, and then right when I noticed my water was leaking. Well, that's weird. So, it's weird shit like that. Like I said, this is how I know people are being paid off, because it's not just people just like, I know, I got a good idea. Let's screw with this guy indefinitely. Get him to, let's try to drive these people to suicide. Let's I drive me nuts. I like that view though, with the snow. That is the only thing about snow. It does add a different appearance to the whole environment. And it's really not that bad. What's really worse is the temperature that it gets in Indiana. It gets below zero over here. We get really cold. We get freezing. And I'm originally from California, so I've lived in California, lived in Arizona, Texas a little bit. Minnesota was definitely not better than this. Minnesota was probably worse. And they were doing that. They were doing this gang stalking program over in Minnesota too. So when I went there, they started off real subtle, and it really just became obvious that that's what they were doing. Directed conversation. They had basically looked up some information. They were tipped off on some information from Indiana, so they had an inside scoop. It's crazy shit. This shit's really happening. I really want to do something about it besides just tightening up and going after my cybersecurity shit on my network, getting more hardware and devices. Couldn't happen overnight. Like I said, these people can be busted. They can be brought to justice. Unfortunately, know who we can rely on, and most of who we can't rely on, and can't rely on the police unless they've actually stolen something. But then how far does it go then? Let's say, well, we don't have any proof. We don't have any evidence. We don't know who did it. We know there was a crime committed, but we don't know who did it. So that's where the investigation stops. That's where there is no investigation. But if I were to do the same thing, here's the double standard. Now, if I were to go break into someone's house and steal some shit, who's going to jail? Even if I get away, everyone will vouch for whose house I broke into, which I'm not saying I did or would, but just say anyone that's not a part of the organized criminal network breaks into their house, steals something out of their wallet. Now it's a crime. Now it's an investigation. See what I'm saying? So they only protect certain people. And if you're a convicted felon like I am, almost went to prison, been in and out of jail a few handful of times. Been quite some time. Most of them were gang stalking setups where I had psychs studying me, in my jail cell. Like doctors and shit. Guys they're trying to plug me back in the system, plug my mind, reprogram me. They're desperate for control. These narcissists want to feel like they've got full control over us. They target what they aren't. Makes sense. That's not what they are, so that's what they're targeting. Something that is different. With that, I'm going to get going, get out here, and get my day started. Goodbye.